Hello humans and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be building a retired writer's apartment. It's not a retired writer in the sense that they are a writer who's currently retired. It's more so that it's a retired man who is currently trying to become a writer. They're still figuring stuff out. It's just a casual hobby that they have, so they are trying to pursue it as much as they can, sort of. That's kind of the vibe that I'm going for this apartment. It's just going to be a single old man and his cat that are going to be living in this apartment. The vibe is basically going to be that the apartment is going to be made of like sort of really old things, apart from like his computer, and I think the bed sort of looks modernish. It's not quite exactly modern, but it doesn't look old either. But yeah, that's kind of like the only things that look fairly modern-ish. The rest of the apartment is supposed to look very, very old. Like it's kind of like the apartment that I imagine that he's bought many, many years ago and is just continuing to live here. So yeah, that's kind of like the main vibe that I'm going for with this build. Right now you can see me trying to figure out the kitchen layout. It's going to be just like a really small L-shaped kitchen with not much storage, just like the few shelves that you see up top there and whatever counter space we have. There isn't going to be too much. It's just, as I said before, it's just for a single man, so I don't imagine that he uses the kitchen very much to care about having a large kitchen. And yeah, I've just put the sink there in the corner right next to the bathroom door. Now this is kind of like the only part of the layout of this apartment that I don't currently like. I do end up changing it a bit because of how really awkward it is, but the bathroom still ends up staying exactly right there. Because you'll see when I start putting the tiling for the kitchen, which is I think right about now, I try to go for these like angled tiling and then try to just fill out the rest. And yeah, it doesn't really look too good, especially since there is going to be a really small dining table there. I tried to make it to where it was just completely straight tiling, but that didn't end up going as much as like as good as I liked, mainly because I feel like it's just not a comfortable look to have in an apartment, to have the door to the bedroom lead in from the kitchen, or what feels like the kitchen area, because it's, you know, the door is on the tiles. So yeah, that's the only thing that I don't really like about this layout, so that's why I end up changing it in the future. And yeah, I experiment with a few different tiles. I end up going for these sort of like beige-ish, like it's like a really dull salmon pink almost. And yeah, I tried to go for this like really old-ish looking wall design, but then I change it for this slightly newer, more clean looking one, because I do imagine that he does have like maintained the apartment just as much as he can. I don't imagine this is like a really ancient apartment. It's still a really good apartment. It's just he's had it for years and he's not changing very much about it, sort of. That's kind of like the main aesthetic that I'm going for. As you can see, I tried to go for just like a single dining table. I tried to put 4 chairs in it, but with how cramped and small the kitchen is, it just wouldn't fit with 4 chairs. So what I end up doing is I put 2 of these chairs onto the side, and I was thinking of just making them a part of the living room, just like extra seating that he has in the living room, sort of. And here, this is the main part where the angled tiles don't really look good, because the rug under the dining table, it sort of like hides the angle, like more than half of the angled tiles, so there's like, it just becomes pointless to have those tiles there anyways. Plus it kind of makes it feel like the living room, like the part of the living room that's leading towards the bedroom door, feels very cramped because of how close the tiles are to the bedroom door, while also not being a part of the area that leads to the bedroom. It's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, I feel like you understand where I'm going with this. It's just a bit, you know, something that doesn't feel very nice or aesthetic, not aesthetically pleasing, but like it just doesn't seem like a comfortable arrangement to have in an apartment. I do end up changing it around about when I start furnishing the bedroom, and I realize that the bedroom itself is like really small. So initially what my plan was that the bathroom that you see here, that's going to be leading in from the kitchen, my initial plan was to have that bathroom just be like a laundry and utility room instead of a bathroom, and then the room in the other corner of the apartment, that one was going to be the main bathroom. What I end up doing later on is that I end up putting both bathrooms together and then just expanding the bedroom over onto the other side. It does make the sort of, how to explain this, does make the bathroom seem a little bit cramped, because then I have to fit a shower, sink and washing machine all in the same bathroom. So it is a bit cramped, especially when you'll see up there the shape of the bathroom isn't the most comfortable. However, it's the best I could think of for the amount of space that we have in this apartment, because this even though this apartment it's for just one singular person, the apartment still, I wanted it to be as finished as possible, especially considering that it's an old man who has a really fond interest in books and writing books. So I imagine that, as you'll see when I'm putting in the furnishings in the living room and bedroom, that he has a lot of books that he frequently reads. So I imagine he's sort of like a not exactly hoarder, but like a collector of books, sort of. So that's why there's a lot of space that is used up by just bookshelves. So to make up for that, I had to like make sure that there is enough space for everything. Especially as you'll see here, it's not in the current layout, wherever I put the couch, it's not a comfortable place. Especially considering in its current position, as you can see there, it's either half of the couch doesn't have a wall behind it, or if I move the couch to the side, sort of to be like right next to the bedroom door, that is also bad, because then the couch is neither in front of the TV, nor does anyone sitting on the couch can look straight at the TV. And it also makes the path towards the bedroom door really cramped. I think if I remember, it makes the path towards the bedroom door so small that no sim would be able to walk past there. Here I'm trying to make a sort of like more bookshelf space here right behind the couch, because I imagine that's like a really comfortable little design that someone would have if they were a writer, not just a writer, but like just a nice positioning for a bookshelf, because I imagine that it would be nice to just have books right behind you, so you don't even have to get off the couch to grab new books. You could just turn around and grab something from behind you and then start reading it. So yeah, that's sort of like the aesthetic that I thought that would feel nice. It does make it does look a little bit uncomfortable, because there are some books that are like completely not hidden, but like completely blocked by the couch, and they would be pretty much unreachable, the ones that are right behind the couch. But that was sort of like an aesthetic that I wanted to go for. It I feel like it feels really nice, considering the amount of cramped space that we have in the apartment. That would be a really nice addition there, and a really nice way to have a bunch of book storage. There we go. I'm just adding another extra lamp there right above the bathroom door entrance, and that's a little random thing that I just thought of putting there. I wanted there to be like just a random decorative mirror that isn't really there for like use. It's mainly just there for aesthetics, and I found this really nice sort of like a comic book action bubble mirror, so I just decided to put it there. Thought it would be nice, you know. And there we go. There you see me putting in the floorings to the rest of the apartment. And this, right now, me doing this is when I realized that the bedroom is way too small. Especially since when I put the bedside tables, that leaves pretty much no room for there to be a desk to fit comfortably. I know that I could put there be only just one bedside table right next to the outside wall, and then the desk be right next to the door, so that way that desk sort of acts as like a sort of bedside table but also a regular used desk. And yeah, right now I'm figuring out what kind of closet to put in here, because I imagine this is just like a walk-in closet and there's a bunch of cabinet space in here. I decided to go for these like really nice modular ones. I've used them before and I feel like they make really nice, aesthetically clean looking cabinet spacing, especially inside of a closet like this one, because I can put, as you can see now, open exposed hanging clothes, which looks really nice. And yeah, I didn't really put much detail in this area because I don't imagine that. I just, honestly, I'll be honest, I couldn't be bothered putting too much detail in that area considering how little anyone would be using this, especially me, because I would rarely ever send Sims to change their clothes, so I don't really care too much about the cabinet spacing. For me, it's just a random thing that's part of the house that you have to use, sort of. There you go. This is me trying to expand the bedroom. Well, not trying. I did successfully expand the bedroom. It's just, it's not. It does make the bedroom bigger, and it definitely did provide a lot more space for the bedroom, so that I could put a lot more stuff in the bedroom. Especially, you'll see that with the idea that I had before of having just of having sorry of having the desk right next to the bed, so that sort of acts as a bedside table. I ended up improving that idea slightly. Well, it's sort of an improvement depending on how you look at it, but I ended up putting a massive bookshelf there instead. Yeah, sure, it might not look very comfortable having just like a big chunk of a bookshelf right next to where you have your face, but that's kind of like the only place that I could sort of think of where I imagine he'd have more space for books in his bedroom. You know, that would fit comfortably, and it was actually a pretty good use of the space considering he lives alone, so he doesn't really. I don't imagine that he uses both sides of the bed. I imagine that he would just be sleeping in the middle, like thinking of this as like a more realistic apartment. So yeah, I was just like, I'm not really. I was just doing this because I was thinking of like what kind of a real person would live in this apartment. So I was just sort of building it accordingly. Here I'm trying to find like rugs to go under the couch and the dining table. The rugs that sort of look really not extremely old, but still some like, especially the one that's like under the dining table there. That's supposed to look really really old. There you go. Now I've started finishing the bedrooms here, and yeah, I put like a little bedside table next to it. I had to go through like a few different designs to try and match, like to try and find something that like really nicely matches the color of the existing bed frame there, because I don't know, it just feels, I feel like it feels nice to have bedside tables that match the bed frame. It just looks really like they blend together as if they're just a part of one big unit, sort of. And there we go. Right now I've just put those two chairs there because I wanted to have some seating space in the bedroom, but then I decided that it's sort of not worth it to have extra seating space in there, considering that I don't imagine why he would ever need extra seating space, because even if it's just for like reading books and whatnot, he could just sit on the bed or on his desk to read books. And yeah, plus it's not like it takes a long amount of time or distance to the living room. The living room's like right outside the door. So yeah, there you go. Here's me putting in the desk. I thought that I'd put that metal one because it looked really nice, but I ended up going for this sort of desk that it kind of looks like it's for a high school student, but if you don't really look all that carefully, you'll just you won't notice the really large amount of sort of bulletin board type thing that there is at the really, like, right behind where the computer would be. And yeah, I feel like it sort of makes sense for the writer, because I do imagine that he'd have a lot of notes around in on his desk that he uses for, like, to store and remember, like, points and storylines and stuff like that. There we go. Here's me getting the a second bookshelf for the bedroom, the really large one. And again, yeah, I think I'm really proud of that actually bookshelf, because it matches the bed frame again really nicely, because I feel like that's just a nice aesthetic to have all furniture, or most furniture in the room, have the same or similar wood tones, because it just feels, in my opinion, really nice to have that. And right now here's me putting in all the stuff for the cat that I'd forgotten before, and I put that really nice, like, cat tree there right next to the window. I feel like that's like a really nice aesthetic, especially for a cat, indoor cat for an apartment, because I imagine the cat doesn't really get to spend too much time outside, apart from, like, every now and then when the writer takes it out for, like, the vet or something like that. I don't imagine the cat getting too much outdoor time, so it'd be a nice little place to have a cat tree in front of the window, so the cat can just sit up there and look out the window and just enjoy the outside world, well, or as much as it can without going outside. And here I put the most expensive, like, bathtub shower combo that well, I don't think it's the most expensive one in the Sims, but it's, in my opinion, the best looking one. But then I changed it for this one because I felt like the other one felt a little bit too modern for the build. I feel like it just didn't really match the aesthetic of the rest of the build, so that's what I ended up going for. And there we go. I put, like, a little storage cabinet mirror thing, just so that there's a little bit more storage space there, that I think he would probably use that very often, especially considering that he'd probably, like, considering his age, I imagine that he has a lot of stuff that he has to use, not just medicines, but, like, just random stuff that he has to use fairly frequently, that I imagine that he has in the bedroom, in the bathroom, I mean, sorry. And yeah, there we go. Here's me putting in the random clutter that would be in here, and then just, completely random stuff that's here. There's not really any specific use for it. I ended up deciding to not have a washing machine in this build, because I feel like the build feels a little nicer without it, because I imagine that he just uses the communal laundry that's part of the apartment, instead of having his own washing machine, because I don't imagine that he has all that many clothes that he has to use on a regular basis. So I don't imagine that he washes, or, like, well, not really washes, but, like, needs to wash them very often. So yeah, this is also just a way for me to, like, try and not cover up the piping that's there in this part of the apartment. Same with the closet, because I feel like if for this apartment to be playable, and I didn't want to use any mods to remove those aspects of the apartment, that's why there's just there, so that they can still be used. Maybe just, like, whenever maintenance or something comes to the apartment, you can just move the laundry hamper to the side, or, like, in front of the shower until that gets fixed, and then you can move it back to its place and stuff like that. That still makes this build feel as realistic as possible, while also being mostly playable in a real Sims game. And yeah, here's just me putting in random trophies and stuff that I would just guess that he's collected over the years, and just completely random stuff that he has on this little display area of his apartment. Again, yeah, it's just the part of the apartment where it's just a random decorative area, because it's just that random mirror, just a place for him to show off all of his achievements, stuff like that. Yeah, so there we go. Now it's me putting in random clutter and stuff for the desk in his room. This initially I didn't want to put too much clutter, but then I ended up putting in a lot of clutter. Like the entire desk feels cramped, like completely cramped. It's not comfortable. That desk does not look comfortable. Yeah, especially this is only half the stuff that I put there. That's just for reference. You'll see soon enough, but yeah, it's an extremely cramped desk. Which, to be fair, I do imagine that he would have a really cramped desk, mainly just filled with random stuff that he uses on a regular basis. Minus the plants, of course. The plants are just random decorative stuff. There's no need for that. Also, the same with the large speaker that's tucked away in the desk's corner. That's only really there just because it looks nice. And I imagine that he listens to a lot of music while writing so that, to stay focused. And yeah, that's sort of like the main aesthetic that I'm going for the desk. And there we go. That's the apartment done. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.